Air travel, a gateway to global exploration, bridges cultures and connects distant horizons. But have you ever wondered what propels those sky-high ticket prices? Welcome to Zipic Productions. Today we're taking off into the world of aviation to explore a question that's been on the minds of many. Why is flying so expensive? Let's kick off our journey by delving into the substantial expenses tied to aircraft manufacturing and maintenance. When we talk about the cost of air travel, a significant chunk of it can be traced back to the intricate process of building and keeping airplanes in top-notch condition. The production and upkeep of modern aircraft demand cutting-edge technology, top-notch materials, unwavering safety standards, and a highly skilled workforce. The research and development phases for crafting new aircraft designs often come with jaw-dropping price tags, sometimes soaring into the billions of dollars. These colossal investments are eventually recuperated through ticket prices paid by passengers. Take Boeing's 787 Dreamliner, for example, which had a staggering development cost of around $32 billion, a cost that finds its way into the purchase prices of aircraft, ultimately affecting ticket fares for us travelers. Airports, those bustling hubs of travel, are no small feat when it comes to investments in infrastructure. Think runways, terminals, controlled towers, and the intricate web of navigation systems, all requiring a hefty dose of capital. What's more, airports constantly need facelifts and upkeep to keep up with the surging passenger numbers and ever-evolving security demands. Guess who bears the brunt of these expenses? Us passengers. Take a peek at massive airport expansions like London's Heathrow or Atlanta's Hartsfield-Jackson, both sporting billion-dollar price tags. Funding for these colossal projects usually comes from government investments or revenue generated via passenger fees and airline rents. It's these substantial infrastructure investments that inevitably tag along with the overall cost of air travel. Fuel, a big player in an airline's expenses, can't be overlooked. It's a tricky customer though, thanks to its wild price swings influenced by global politics. For airlines, predicting and managing these costs is like trying to catch a cloud. But here's a hitch. When fuel prices shoot up, guess who takes the hit? Yep, us passengers. Airlines often tack on extra charges like fuel surcharges to make up for their rising fuel bills. Sometimes, fuel alone can gobble up a hefty 30 to 40% of an airline's operation costs, and you can bet that's a part of what you're paying for when you book that ticket. Airlines are like well-oiled machines with a massive team behind the scenes, from pilots and flight attendants to mechanics and office folks. Pilots in particular go through rigorous training, which isn't cheap. Plus, airlines run 24/7, so there's shift work, overtime, and long-haul accommodations to consider. Labor unions and agreements also have a say in salaries and perks, adding to the airline's overall expenses. Take experienced captains, for example. Their salaries alone can be a hefty chunk of the airline's budget. Keeping aircraft in tip-top shape to meet strict safety standards is no pocket change. Airlines have to fork out cash for regular checkups and unforeseen fixes to guarantee safe and reliable flights. These expenses are tucked into the ticket prices we pay. Airlines don't skimp on maintenance. They invest heavily in routine checks, swapping out parts, and even major overhauls to extend the life of their aircraft. So in the end, passengers indirectly chip in for these thorough safety measures through their ticket fares. As you all know, safety in aviation is a top priority, and global aviation authorities lay down the law with stringent regulations. Airlines have no choice but to follow these rules, which means they have to invest in safety gear and regular safety checkups. It's a non-negotiable part of the aviation game. Airlines constantly put money into safety equipment, pilot training, and maintenance to not just meet but to go beyond these tough standards. It's all for the safety and peace of mind of passengers, but it sure adds up to the high cost of flying. In today's world, with security concerns at an all-time high, airlines have to dig deep into their pockets to ramp up security measures. This includes screening passengers and baggage, having air marshals on board, and beefing up cybersecurity. These measures don't come cheap, and guess who ends up footing the bill? Yep, us passengers once again. Security is a big-ticket item in aviation, especially after the events of 9/11. It means airlines have to invest heavily in things like advanced passenger checks and fortified cockpit doors, and these expenses get passed down to us through extra fees and taxes. The airline industry is a battleground where countless carriers battle it out for a piece of the pie. To lure passengers, they often go head-to-head in price wars, dishing out discounted fares and tempting promotions. While this seems like a win for us travelers in the short haul, it can end up squeezing airlines' profit margins. This squeeze can force airlines to either tighten their belts elsewhere or jack up fares down the road. On highly competitive routes, airlines may slash ticket prices to attract passengers, but those rock-bottom rates aren't sustainable in the long run. Staying in the black requires airlines to strike a tricky balance between competitive pricing and covering their operating costs. Lately, we've noticed a trend in the airline world: big fish gobbling up the little ones. While this can make airlines run smoother and save some cash, it has a downside. Less competition can mean airlines hike up their prices. Consolidation lets airlines scale up, trimming routes and costs. But when they start joining forces, we passengers might end up with fewer choices and steeper fares on some routes. It's a fine balance between efficiency and paying more for our flights. Air traffic control, the unsung hero of the skies, plays a vital role in keeping our flights safe and smooth. But it's not a set-it-and-forget-it deal. It needs constant tech upgrades and a skilled crew to handle the ever-growing air traffic. Who pays for this? Well, it's a mix of governments and user fees, which ultimately have an indirect impact on ticket prices. Keeping these systems up to date isn't a luxury. It's a must for safe air travel. The cost burden usually falls on governments, covered by taxes, user fees, and budgets. While passengers aren't billed directly for this, it still has a say in the grand total we see in our airfare receipts. And when we hit the skies, there's more than just the ticket price to consider. We're talking about a slew of fees and taxes that can really pile up. Landing fees, passenger facility charges, and government-imposed taxes like the Passenger Civil Aviation Security Service fee, they all also chip away at our wallets. And here's the kicker: these costs aren't consistent. They can swing widely from one place to another. It's a mix of charges airlines pay for using airport facilities, fees to upgrade airports, and taxes to support aviation programs. Even though these don't show up on your ticket as one each sum, they're definitely part of the total bill that lands in your lap. Recently, the aviation world has been feeling the heat of environmental concerns. To combat emissions, airlines are being nudged towards greener practices. This means buying more fuel-efficient planes and getting involved in carbon offset programs. But guess what? These changes can mean shelling out more cash for airlines, which often ends up affecting ticket prices. The goal here is to make air travel more eco-friendly, so airlines are investing in fuel-efficient planes, working on sustainable aviation fuels, and adopting green practices. However, these green moves can inflate the airline's prices. Finally, let's talk about the greener side of aviation: sustainable aviation fuel, or SAF. It's a game changer for reducing air travel's environmental impact, but it comes at a cost. SAF is cooked up from things like waste oils, leftover bits from farming, and even algae. Sounds cool, right? Well, it is, but here's the deal: making SAF is pricier than traditional jet fuel. Airlines that hop on the green wagon often pay a premium for SAF, and that cost can find its way into the price tag on your ticket. So while it's great for Mother Earth, it might make your wallet a tad lighter. However, in the ever-changing world of aviation, striking a balance between affordability, safety, and eco-friendliness is a continuous puzzle. Both travelers and industry players need to grasp the many factors that drive up the cost of flying as we chart the path ahead. Innovation is the name of the game. The aviation industry must keep coming up with cost-effective solutions to tackle these challenges while ensuring safe, accessible, and environmentally responsible air travel for people all over the globe. How can we strike the perfect balance between affordable travel, safety, and environmental responsibility? We'd love to hear your thoughts. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to Zipek Productions for more fascinating content, and ring the notification bell to stay updated on our upcoming videos. Safe travels, and see you next time.